African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of July 12, 2025. Tonight, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out a group strike with long-range, air-based high-precision weapons and strike unmanned aerial vehicles on military-industrial complex enterprises of Ukraine in Lviv, Kharkiv, and Lutsk, as well as on the infrastructure of a military airfield. The strike objective was achieved. All designated targets were hit. Units of the North grouping of troops improved their forward edge position. They inflicted defeat on the manpower and equipment of 2 motorized rifle brigades, a landing assault brigade, 3 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, and 3 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Rzevka, Radiansk, Aleksivka, Kondratovka, Varakino, Unikovka, and Sadki in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on units of 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Volchansk and Melivoy in the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 170 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 5 vehicles, a field artillery piece, a radio-electronic warfare station, and 3 depots of material assets. Units of the West grouping of troops improved their tactical position. They inflicted defeat on formations of 2 motorized rifle brigades, an assault brigade, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Shikovka, Novovasilevka, Petroivanovka, Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, and Torsko in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to up to 225 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, including an HMMWV armored car manufactured in the USA, 10 vehicles, 2 artillery pieces, 3 radio-electronic warfare stations, a RADA radar station manufactured in Israel, and 5 ammunition depots. Units of the South grouping of troops occupied more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted defeat on the manpower and equipment of 5 motorized rifle brigades, an assault brigade, an airborne brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Sherbanovka, Seversk, Chesavyar, Serebryanka, Konstantinovka, Platinovka, Zakatnoy, Belyagora, Alexandro Sheltino, and Kleban Byk in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost over 185 servicemen, a vehicle, and an ammunition depot. Units of the center group of troops improved the situation along the front edge. Inflicted damage to the formations of heavy, 2 mechanized, Ranger, assault, 2 air assault brigades, an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Dmitrov, Krasnoarmysk, Zvarivo, Yudaknoy, Muravka, Petrovskoy of the Donetsk People's Republic, Filia, and Novopodgorodnoy of the Dnipropetrovsk region. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 450 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 5 vehicles, and a field artillery gun. Units of the East group of troops continued to advance into the depths of the enemy's defense. Inflicted damage to the manpower and equipment of a mechanized brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Novogeorgievka, Dnipropetrovsk region, Karl Marx, Donetsk People's Republic, Timirovka, Poltavka, Guliapol, and Malinovka, Zaporizhzhia region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 190 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 10 vehicles, an artillery gun, and 2 electronic warfare stations. Units of the DNPER group of troops inflicted damage to the formations of a mountain assault brigade, a coastal defense brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Plavny, Novoandriivka, Zaporizhzhia region, Sadavoy, and Nadnepryanskoy, Kherson region. Up to 60 Ukrainian servicemen, 8 vehicles, 9 electronic warfare stations, an ammunition depot, and 2 material depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops and artillery of the groups of troops of the armed forces of the Russian Federation inflicted damage on territorial recruitment centers, as well as temporary deployment points of formations of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries in 133 districts. Air defense systems shot down 2 guided aviation bombs and 189 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 663 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 69,155 unmanned aerial vehicles, 614 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,194 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,576 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 27,284 field artillery guns and mortars, 38,029 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.